Welcome to another episode of Political Perspective. My name is Ifani Okale. With me here today is the former member representing Arochukwu Ohafia Federal Constituency at the 8th and 9th Federal Assembly. His name is Honorable Uko Ndukwe Nkole. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, per se. Yeah, we see you in a good mood today. All right, sir. We just want to discuss about your former as a member at the 8th and the 9th Assembly. Directly, we want to know actually what happened during your tenure. The road F107 road. And last year, December, a lot of things happened. And also, the host community, which is Ohafia, I've been saying from the development union and also the king, the paramount ruler of Ohafia, ancient kingdom, raised an alarm about abandoning the project, mainly the More axis. It's part of the F107 road. We would like you to shed more light about the F107 road.
Thank you so much for wanting to have my views and my input. Considering the fact I had represented the federal constituency, I'm no more a state actor, but definitely the history of that road cannot go down, will be incomplete without any mention of Uko Nkole. My deepest sympathy is first to the families of those that lost their lives in that unfortunate accident. My heart felt goes to them and the families and their loved ones. It's not easy to lose people and this tragic situation. So my condolences and my prayers and thoughts are with the family, and I say may God rest their soul in perfect peace. Yeah, that said, it's an accident. Accident, it's something that nobody knows. That is why it is called an accident. It's never the intention of the driver, also the intention of the lorry driver. I mean the drivers here, but the Sienna bus and the so it's not intentions of those that went to pursue their legitimate duties to end tragically in such situation. I also learned that they will have survivors in that accident. Also, my thoughts are prayers with him that God will perfect his healing. Now, the issue, first of all, I want to address, over time, during my time in the National Assembly, I always end my write-ups warning the road users to be careful. Accident happens on smooth roads and also on routes that are not, So, but the key line is safety first. Going forward, drivers flying on this route and every other route should take responsibility. Make sure your cars are in order. Also, the enforcement agencies, road safety, whatever you call them, I get worried a little bit because it appears road safety has abandoned their core responsibility. Road safety behaves these days as primarily the revenue generating agencies. So everything about them is how to find and get money. So that culture is a dangerous culture. And I want to call on the establishment to re-examine and refocus. Road safety should recalibrate to ensuring safety of commuters on the road. Sadly, they are not doing that. If you watch at that accident scene, I never saw road safety, even in the picture, anywhere. So I don't know what happened. The first responder to such emergencies on a federal highway is Federal Road Safety and they weren't there. If they have had the equipment, if they have had their eyes on the ball, immediately that happened, they could have rescued a lot of people. I saw when somebody was struggling to come out. I mean, Ohafia is a growing urban city, catching up with Umuahia and competing with Aba. So, in planning, all these agencies should understand that Ohafia should be given a central focus, should be a focal point. Even the state emergency, all these, their aspirants, what is it for? Is it just only to generate revenue? So it now calls also the operational methodology, both at the state, at the federal, at the state level, to recalibrate. And also understand that it's not just to call, it's an indictment on aspirants or whatever thing they call them. They say insurance and all the blah, 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 you pay money. Today, what are they? Also, the emergency response, Abia emergency response, something EMR also that was relaunched. The previous government of Igbazo introduced that. The present government has also reinforced it and also relaunched it. So, do you mean that Ohafia, there is no dedicated service, at least for Ohafia? Even if you say the entire Abia North, Ohafia is the capital of Abia North. So, I want us to start thinking outside the box so that future occurrence will be neat at the board. Accident will always happen, but we don't pray it to be in that dimension and fatal. But if we are careful, we'll avoid it. If we pull all the necessary tools on ground, once it happens, the rescue operation starts and you see, people get back. So having that said that, going back to the FO 107, yes, this FO 107, I did a lot of work. One, I gave this road an identity. That was how that F 107 came up. Initially, it used to have a mixed nomenclature with the other side, which is Uko Ndukwe Nkole, which is not the federal alignment. It's also Mohebende or Ohafia, because Uko Ndukwe Nkole is part of the local government. Now, so that gave rise to when funds are allocated, those projects are not implemented on the original location. So when that thing happened first, in my during my first term, I quickly moved in, went through the federal agencies. They now used Ozuabam, which is the largest community in Abam clan, and also on that arterial to differentiate it from that side. That's why it's now called Mohebende Ozuabam Ohafia Road, which is F107. It's a span of 44 kilometers from Abia Tower, the first tower, to Osoja Junction. Ohafia. It's 44 kilometers. Now, at the award of the contract, it came into existence in 2017. That's when I got the rehabilitation phase 1 and phase 2. That's section 1 and section 2. Now, section 2 is, section 1 is, I meant to say, from El Soja, Ohafia, to Arochukwu, Nkunabo. That is section 1. Then there's section 2 from Old Soja to Umuahia. That is the section 2, which is F107. The other one is 8236 or so. That is the route name. Now that 8236 or 8232, something, that I'm not too sure is failing now. Now, this side is 44 kilometers. Now, in this 44 kilometers, we have 2 dangerous bridges. One, the Mori Bridge, and number 2, Omenoko Igvozo, which is in my village. I also had to make sure Igvu River is a cause. You also have Igvu somewhere in Enugu. So because of conflict, the then Deputy Senate President is from that side. That's DSP Ekwemadu. So to avoid any conflict, I now had to introduce Omenoko. Channage 27 plus 800. That is the location of this bridge. Now, the Mori Bridge also is there, which is Onoduma. So, I now use names that cannot be mistaken for another location. Now, these roads is not just about roads. You must do a design and get approval. Then will be raised. All these bureaucratic processes must be in place before a road project is awarded. Now, the previous ones that were done, I had to query why previous people before me, both state actors from this spine, couldn't achieve much. I interrogated the system. I mean, I was a civil servant, so I understand the nuances of how these things. Now, in the course of my findings, I discovered one thing, that the road design they had was expensive, particularly at Ajata. From Ajata, where you have that Ibeku, where they have that refuse dump. There is nothing, if you recall, there is nothing that has never been done on that road, but it still failed. You also go to the next village, because Oko Nkatabi, I don't know what they did that next. There's even another landslide that they now had to do a shortcut. The major alignment has been abandoned. Now, you go to Isieke proper, you see that landslide. On that road towards where you have this federal, this police housing estate, and you also see the terrain. Now, I now made findings. I discovered, because I'm a geoscientist, I discovered that there's what we call Kenya Trough. It is a fault line that runs all this parallel to Kenya. It's a disturbance line, plate tectonics. So, the underground water is shallow. So whatever thing you do, it brings down, once it settles, it goes out with whatever thing you have done. And the design at that particular point in time was to have a hanging bridge. If you're driving into Lagos, before Beggar, that was the design that was proposed. Now, because it is expensive, that spine will take you close to 5 or 6 kilometers driving on that bridge. What was the remedy? What is now the remedy? I now had to go in-house. I assisted to make sure that the proper road design was achieved on that spine. And grateful that Engineer Ben Arochukwu, Nkole, yes, Hapel's son is an engineer. He came to the rescue, and also the MD of Hamakop, they joined me and also did some work, and grateful Federal Minister of Works also came in on their own and now did the designs based on, we compared information, and by the end of the day, we got an alternative for that in that aspect. Now, for the commencement of Section 1, Section 1 commenced before coming to F107, which is Arochukwu Ohafia, highway.
How many kilometers?
It's at 5 kilometers.
From Osoja to Arochukwu.
From Osoja to Nkunabo, it's at 5 kilometers. Now,
when was that awarded?
It was also awarded in 2013. Now, the contractor mobilized to sites 2018, 2019. But before I get into that, I will also, when I get it, I will tell you but I just want to lay a foundation. So this is what we call the Section 2 Ohafia Road, Arochukwu. Now, commencement of the construction started in 2020, December. Preparatory to my father's burial, December. So they came, stabilize the road. If you recall that time, Mori Bridge was bad. A Dangote or a trailer carrying cement, I don't know, spoiled. And we always had that incident. Whatever thing that happens, everybody stuck. And particularly people from this side going to Ohafia, it becomes inaccessible to them. So it became critical that something must be done at Mori Bridge. The available funds we had in the budget cannot take Omenoko Bridge and the Mori Bridge. The first thing that we did was to do augmentation, did the Beme. And before then, some people had wanted to, I think the state assembly member, then the deputy speaker, he called me, that this is the situation. You want to do the bridge. I said, fine and good. Nothing should stop you from doing the bridge. You can have 2 bridges there. Go ahead and do your own, but make sure it is consistent, the technical details and everything. The engineers also came to report that they met people on ground. They asked, I also said the same thing, yes, don't stop them. Let them do their work. They said, okay. They asked for the design. Irrespective of the fact that they have been given the contract to do the road. It was an encroachment, but as I managed the situation, Whatever thing they want to do, allow them, let them do the work. They asked for the engineering designs and drawings and all those things. They said they couldn't find, they had none. And they were using Y12 or this small, wires, what they met on site. They said, no. Are you doing a bridge you want to use for people to use leg and cross or for vehicle? No, go and get us your design. If you get us your design, fine and good. You do your own, we'll do our own. So that was all those ones ran away. Now, Heartland started the Mori Bridge proper. So at no point did anybody drive anybody away from, stop anybody from doing any bridge there. Even I had the same scenario at Ndebabam. The then senator came that he wanted to do bridge. I said, no, leave him. Let him do his own. Let me do my own. You is your luck that you are going to have 2 bridges. So whichever way you want to use, you use. To God be the glory. The bridge I've reconnected in Debe with the concrete bridge. The one the senator then started is still at that level. Nothing has happened. So one is experienced.
You're talking about Senator Mao.
But the senator when I was the House of Rep member.
There are 2 senators. The first was
in my first tenure in the 8th Assembly. I'm talking about 8th Assembly. So today the bridge I did is standing. The same thing with the Mori Bridge. Nobody chased anybody away. Perhaps the people should also account for what happened on that bridge. So there's also another side that anybody can also build a better bridge than the one I have facilitated, which is standing now. I also rehabilitated. If you go check very well, you also see that I sponsored the rehabilitation of the existing Belly Bridge. The Belly Bridge is still there, rehabilitated, very strong. So I will have 2 bridges. And also more, in 2013, the first person that ever did a palliative repair on the Mori Bridge is me. The time Mori collapsed in 2012, I was the one that did the repair. When I was not even I was not a state actor. I have very deep concern about the state of that bridge. So going forward now, Mori itself, the Belly Bridge has been replaced with a concrete one bridge. It's there. Now, the F107 construction started, if you recall, from Osoja Junction. Yes, a lot of argument that was opposed where we come from Arochukwu. This one for 0.0, which I started from Wanomaya, which is from Bend. I said no. This is my project. I facilitated it for the people of Arochukwu and Federal Constituency. And it must start from my Federal Constituency, extending to other parts of the state. Whoever that is interested, you can also make case. I won't go and look for funds. The funds most of my colleagues do for empowerment, I'll now mop up funds at every particular point in time, every budget year, and make sure the contractor wouldn't get anything less than 1 billion. The total job for F107 is 12.something billion. The budget for section 2, section 1, so I mean to say, which is Old Soldier Arochukwu, is also 5.something billion. Now, F107, which is section 2, the budget he had was to have commenced in 2002. Sorry, 2020. Remember, there was lockdown, there was COVID. So it was a setback. Now, after the COVID, related to my father's burial, when it was opened up, they moved to site, stabilized the road, started the reconstruction. Then in 2021, they approached from Old Soldier. You remember Federal Government College was a no-go area. It was bad, flood, all those things. But today, nobody remembers all those things. And the road has passed through the foundation. All those hills, they cut them down to the tip of the spur where they stopped. And now started the cutting down of the hill, which is the Mori axis. If you see, the height of that hill has reduced. The steepness, they have brought it down. So it takes time. That is construction. Now, the money that was provided, appropriated, because you as a lawmaker, it is in you to use your capacity, your experience, to make sure whatever project you facilitate or you inherited, you must make sure it is funded. The contractors operate with funds. And these funds are not given to the contractors, pay into the account to go and start work. No. Once the contractor knows that a particular road, there's enough funds, adequate funds in their budget. Every road has a resident engineer who is the representative of the minister. Now, based on the road design, the contractor starts implementation. And at every stage, the resident engineer, who is the representative of the Minister of Work, will sign that yes, this thing has been done up to this level. Pay the contractor. That is what we call certificates. Once you read that certificate, the federal government pays, because they will now go to the voted on this particular road. What is the budget? Look at okay, there is money. Yeah, they will pay. So that gives the contractor the courage to be on site because the contractor knows he has access for funding. Now, the 1.2 billion, over 1 billion thereabout, the last fund they were given was the 2022-2023 appropriation that I passed. They also made little fund, but I also made your argument to have them get over 1 point something billion at that time. So that 1 point something billion was able to go and check the kilometers they have covered with drainages and that money. So the money they had could carry them to where they have stopped. And the level they are there now is on what we call binder's cost. They have not weared the road, which is the wearing cost, which is the asphalt level. Asphalt is still coming. That is not the final cost. What they have done is they have done the earthwork, they have done the drainages, line drainages, end to end, side by side, then cut down the Murray Hill. So at that point, my tenure ended in June. I wasn't there. They submitted supplementary budget for 2023. Most of the funds were mopped up. I wasn't there as a representative. Otherwise, whatever thing that is due for Arochukwu Ohafia will not be taken by anybody in that place. So the end point of the funds they had carried them to that level where they are. And if further funds were made available in 2023, 2024, I believe this road will have continued seamlessly. So the issue is about funding. That is why the contractors are there. So whatever funds that was available, they have utilized. And I'm sure also they have even gone beyond that scope. And perhaps Federal Ministry of Work have not honored other certificates. It shouldn't be an issue for the federal government because they have their staff that checks, that signs those, that raises those certificates. The representative of the minister is there. So it's not a hearsay. And the Federal Ministry of Works, I also know, are aware of their liabilities. Before you ask me, I'll also tell you that I'm still following up, but I'm limited in my capacity to the extent I can go in the sense that I don't have the capacity to look for funds and fund the project to enable the contractor to be on site. But the inquiry today is not something that is affecting our road also. Other roads also being affected. There is this call for augmentation for funds because the price at that time the road was procured, the economic realities are not the same now. So the contractors all over are asking Federal Ministry of Work, review your prices to reflect the current realities, economic realities. For instance, the equipments they use, as at that time, diesel was 101 per liter. Today, a diesel is 1,000, above 1,000 and something per liter. So will you expect the contractor to continue to render same service? So so I want to use this medium to call on the minister that he should, as quickly as possible, settle this issue of augmentation for these road projects to enable these contractors to go back to site. We should be realistic. Prices of things based on subsidy removal, prices of things has gone high. It's escalated. So minister should, as quickly as possible, the same importance he attaches to Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway should also be extended to F107. No road is more important than the other. And no human beings, we are all Nigerians. All road users, we are Nigerians. So there is no road that is as important as the other. So I am appealing to him to make adequate funding and also accede quickly without further delay. Issue of augmentation, holding the contractors and themselves. We should review those contracts and do the needful, because his resident engineer is there. His eye is there based on bureaucracy. So that is that. Then I will also say that even the Ivu Bridge, which is also another aspect of the F107, I've followed up the design of this bridge to the approval. This Ivu Bridge was approved only on April 9, 2023. I mean, barely 1 or 2 months to the end of my tenure. But I'm happy that I was able to overcome the bureaucratic process. Even at some point, there was an attempt to change the design from the piling they had to raft bridge. I said, no, this is taking us back. I followed up the approval of the right from 2018. That was when I started pushing for the award of the contract. But luckily, it was awarded in 2023. The bridge was also approved, for construction. But fortunately, the available funds, because of the subsidy removal, it also affected the price which this bridge was earlier procured. It was earlier procured about 1 billion. But today, the cost of the bridge, after the review, went on to 3 point something billion to implement the design. But thankfully, the governor, after assumption of office, the SSG and his essay on the national legislative matters, they called. They say the governor wants to know how we can take off from the Money Bridge. I should give them it's a great thing. The only aspect is funding. The 1 billion I had for the bridge, the contract has been awarded to Heartland Setako. The design has been made and approved. I just got approval on April 9, 2023 for the bridge for Heartland to commence. And I also was on site with the Heartland, for site takeover and all those stuff. Unfortunately, when the president came in and made the announcement, so prices went up. And they had to review. And I reviewed these plans to 3.3 billion. The state we are now is implementation. Everything is right. So if he provides the funds, you should speak with the Federal Minister of Work. They should be able to give all these approvals, have followed up, because it is in their domain. I'm no state actor.
Because the assumption from the host community, talking about the Murray Bridge and also the leaders in the community, even some other Ohafia leaders, they were saying that the contractors left, and they were saying they paid them, they paid them, and instead of them to finish the work, they left. Recently, I met the member representing Ohafia Arochukwu Federal Constituency, Honorable Ibe Okwara, asking him about same road. He said, let me quote him what he said. He said the contractors need to come back to the site. They must come back to the site. Why did they abandon the project? They must come back to the site. So this is something that has raised a lot of questions from people asking, does this mean that the contractors were paid and they left their work for another place? So it's better to come from your mouth, because you've mentioned something. So I want you to put it clear so that people will actually know if they have been paid completely, or if there is any amount they have paid for a portion, either for 10 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 2 kilometers, or 1 kilometer. These are things that we like to know, so that we can also make most inquiry from the Federal Ministry of Works.
Right. You see, I said something here. What I did say is, I said this road is 44 kilometers, and it was procured. They procured for about a little bit over 12 billion.
For the 44 kilometers.
For the 44 kilometers. So what does it give you? Apparently, on a layman's this thing, it should give you roughly 250 or per kilometer. So is a person saying that 12 point something billion has been paid to the contractor under which budget? All these things are recorded in the budget. So I will advise, if my successor made that comment, I don't think is in order. You should go and get the budgets. The budgets are there. Everything is in the budget. As at 2023, the budget performance for this road is 10%. 10% of 12 billion will give you 1.2 billion. And the 1.2 billion that was in the budget, Uko Nkole, if you check the bill the president presented, the draft bill, even this year, I know they will not put more than 300 million. That is what they do from the executive. It is not left for the legislator, because they are represented. You are part of your function. There are three key functions of a legislator: oversight, representation, and lawmaking. Appropriation is lawmaking. So when people sit down and say the law, you raise bill, the greatest bill you should participate, the greatest law you can make for your people is to ensure that all the projects in the area, there are funds for it. Once it is approved, it is law. So that is why when people look at you say bills and motion, you can write all the bills and motion. This executive bill, which is the money bill that comes on year, it comes once in a year. So your ability to impact on your people, that is that lawmaking. The core lawmaking is in that budget. Whatever thing you made, that is the law you have made for your people. So there is nowhere in the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there is no record. And I can say for sure that Heartland has never been given the 12 billion naira. The budget performance as at I left office, and immediately I left, that was when that job stalled. They exhausted the funds. It is at 10%, and that 10% represents 1.2 billion out of the 12 billion of the total listing. So it is left for us from also to go and evaluate the job they have done. Just use your layman ideology to check calculate the kilometer they have done, the line drainages they have done, the earthwork they have done from the tip of Moresport to Rother Hill, and also Old Soldier. Evaluate the job they have done and check whether it's up to 1 point, and that's 1.2 billion. Taxes, VAT, everything comes in. So it is not true that they have been paid. I can tell you that for free. Go to the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they have a representative, they have a resident engineer for that project. So nobody paid them that money. So wherever they are is how much the money that is available in the budget. 2024 budget, 2023 budget went, nothing happened. 2024 budget, this is 2 years. Where do you expect the contractor to get money from? They have been doing supplementary budgets and all these things. If you don't give them money, if you are not intentional in funding your projects, the contractor will not get money anywhere to come and do the project. So that is not correct. I want, if my successor said that, I think he should go back to the budget and check all those facts and correct and ensure that this job continues. And like I said, I have said it here, the issue is augmentation. The prices the project was procured, prices have changed. They need variation. It's not just affecting Arochukwu Ohafia road, it's affecting most of the federal roads. The minister has had 2 or 3 meetings with them on that matter. So I'm calling the minister to accelerate action in that process. Yes, their demands are genuine. We live in Nigeria. Their demands are genuine. Look at those genuine and quickly resolve it, do their variation, do augmentation where necessary, and mobilize them, let them come back to site.
So what is holding them now is funds.
It's funds.
So the federal government needs to fund them.
The federal government needs to fund them. And my successor should also do something towards making sure that he appropriates funds for them. If he can also do minimum of what I was doing, even 1,700,000,000. That was how these contractors were on site. That's why when I left office, when someone left office, he said the road was going to suffer. I just laughed. But in between 2019 and 2023, the milestones achieved. The other road, section 1, which is Old Soldier to this thing, their first scope, is at 63%. After the 5 billion contract, I was able to mobilize about 3 billion from that ABM going towards Arochukwu to where that road is. The other section, which is being the other aspect, because there are 2 contractors on that road. There is one that is walking backwards from Uko from point 0 coming towards Obinto, which is the boundary where Heartland is. Heartland is handling 19 kilometers. Out of the 19.5 kilometers, sorry, they have done 14 kilometers on Binder's course. That is why from Old Soldier to Umuchi, welcome to Ndukwe Nkole. Their boundary with EHL is now on Binder's course. But some people will take it that they have done the final level. No, they have not done the asphalt, which is the wearing course. So from Old Soldier to boundary, now they now did earthwork because of the hill. They were busy also cutting down the hills to align so that the steep not be much more safety purposes. Yes. Then at that boundary, they also continue from Umuchi. They cleared the entire Umuchi to the spur of Umuchi where they stopped, and now did earthwork and then did drainage from Umuchi heading towards Obinto. Now they were active inside because I was able to muscle 3 billion for them in those projects. So they were able to do that. Now, when I left office, because of lack of funding, the remaining 11 kilometer stretch of earthwork is abandoned now, which is in a very critical situation. While from Arochukwu, the Constituency has also done their own, and also leaving about 7 or 4 thereabout kilometers. Not sure what they have done out of the remaining scope. Now, when the governor came in for intervention, which I praise him, that yes, he intervened on this section. But please, why don't you focus on this critical aspect that has not witnessed construction, so that the commuters can have seamless, disjointed travel time commuting to Arochukwu? Because what you are coming to do is about 11 kilometers out of the 35-kilometer road.
Almost, he said 40-something kilometers. So, but people were arguing. Then I had another news that it was 30-something. Now you are telling us it's not up to 20 kilometers. So.
The road is 35 kilometers. Out of the 35 kilometers, Beskins Heartland. Governor should go and consult the letter he wrote on the. Oh, you see, part of the thing I want you guys to do, people should write to the minister. There is a letter governor wrote to the minister applying for that road on the 15th of July, 2023. The governor is his own writing signed 35 kilometers, July 15. So it's befuddling that. On the 28th of August, his commissioner for works was quoting 44 kilometers. He was also quoting 41 kilometers. In the governor's own handwriting, on the 15th of July, 2023, you guys are journalists, raise these issues, you raise this question with him. that there is a letter he wrote to the Minister for Works, signed by him. Under Freedom of Information, this thing, you guys can apply for those documents. So I don't know where that confusion came from, but the road I facilitated is 35 kilometers, and I'm happy for his intervention. And also, when he made that comment that he was only giving option for tolling, I said no, you are giving 2 options. There was this HDMI initiative who passed in 2021 under Fashola. Is a way to give accelerated attention to road rehabilitation, because as at that 2021, the liabilities of federal government on federal roads, on paid certificates, was about 500 and something billion, the entire federation. So Fashola, the Minister for Works, then, out of thinking outside the box, in collaboration with National Assembly, we said, okay, HDMI, Highway Development Management Initiative, what does it entail? Get private people through ICROC, this Infrastructure Concession Regulation Commission, get them whatever road they want to do, particularly roads that have economic value. Let them come and do. If you can give them tax rebates, they will value the road. You agree on how much to be spent to build the road. You build the road. They can give you tax holiday to recoup the money. Or you can also build and you pay the toll. You toll those roads. For Arochukwu, they say approach HDMI option, or you go the normal way, meaning you as a governor, you can build a road and use your contact to reclaim. River State government built, and federal, a lot of states have been receiving this. So there is no place federal government will sit down with you, black and white, and say they negotiate with you. No. So they gave him that discretional option, and also told him another thing: we must supervise this work to make sure it conforms with the road designs. So he hadn't confirmed that letter, and he came to flag off road on August 28th, and now to blackmail the federal government that they only gave you road option, when in that letter they wrote to you, replying your letter of 15, to say these are the conditions President must fulfill.
Do you have the document?
The document.
Yes.
Well, I'm not a state actor, but I can give you the dates. You apply to Federal Ministry of Works. They will give you the document. This is your right.
Because you are putting as if you've seen something related to the informations.
This is a project. This is a road I facilitated. So
I mean, does it mean the governor is lying?
I'm not saying governor is lying or not lying, but what I'm saying is that the fact is that he wrote a letter on July 15, and he signed that letter. Is 35 kilometers. So coming again on August 28 to say it's 41 kilometers and his works commissioner is 44 kilometers. I mean, I don't understand what that. And also to say those things, and again to say that after Akbara, nobody had ever intervened on that road until he came. How can you say that? When you're inheriting a road project started by a state actor, then I was in the National Assembly, and the governor called me before in 2017 when there was controversy about who facilitated this thing. He personally called me to encourage me that he has made his findings, that those contractors came from it. It was my intervention. I wrote later to them. I started from the president, Buhari's National Assembly, this our brother from Cross River. I remember his name, when he was a liaison officer. He personally took my memo to the Federal Executive Council on this Arochukwu Ohafia road. The day it was approved, he told me. He also personally took this Imfu Bridge and the Mori Bridge. And he was taking credit he takes credit of everything. So, but the truth is that there was activity. Even you journalists knew there was activity. So how can you attribute this thing to Okpara that is no more here? But I have told you he called me. And Omahi was also here sometime in September, which he hosted Omahi in Government House. So how will you also indict Omahi that nothing was happening? How will you also indict the administration of Buhari that nothing has happened, when all of us are living witnesses that from Osoja to Nduduman work initially, if you want to go to Akano, you pass through Isugu. Of course. And so everybody, even theology, even this the other this thing that came from Nkunabo, His Excellency theology and Letu Chechukwumerija and Abaronse, also that KDI, they went for the flag off. And yes, they did some work to some point. They left after the 2015 election. But when I came in, I brought back those contractors on site and made them to pay them their funds. And they now asphalted from Arochukwu, the entire stretch of Arochukwu on that road. But he passes through the road. He couldn't have been Okpara that did that road that time. So, but in any way, it's also part of the disjointed stories about this. And so that's why when you ask me whether he was lying about the document, also, so there are also issues that need to be strengthened and history, But I'm happy that today, on October 2, he has also written to the ministry to accept those conditions. I was telling him, go and accept these conditions. He wrote a letter.
Which of the conditions?
That they will supervise the road and he will do the road according to the standards.
So how many kilometers?
How many kilometers? By that, if you sit at 5 kilometers, I said his handwriting. Later he wrote apply for that road. He wrote at 5 kilometers. Quote me anywhere. Yeah, that road from Old Soldier, even Old Soldier down to Ndudumamoke, is still on the level we call binder's course. That is not the final, it has not been asphalted. So what is expected if there were funds in the budget? The contractor, all those spots, because of intensity of usage of vehicle, perhaps that area witnesses, heavier level of traffic. That's fine. So those things, can have holes. It doesn't mean that is the final. So what is expected is, since the contractor is still on site, he will maintain it and now ash before he asphalt. So it is a long absence, the gap that is now given. So that is why those ones because of funding. So if funds are provided for them, now Governoti has taken over. Governoti is expected, that road is just to do asphalt. It's still that is the wearing cost. So it is still a binder's cost. After binder's cost, you get the wearing cost. So there is no cost for alarm. It's a normal thing, but it's just a long absence because of funding. But now the state government has taken up that listing, and I have passed that road during this period, and I've seen that they are doing earthwork on those remaining, which I recommended. I said those aspects, the remaining 11 kilometers that have not been attended to, please attend to them. Do what you can do, and once you have that seamless, then you start your asphalting. So it is not a default. It is not that the road is not good. I think you interviewed him sometime.
Yeah.
What did he tell you in your own words?
All right, the first time I interviewed him at the National Assembly, he told me that he came to you and also you advise him. Lately, we want to know if the relationship is still there, because for 8 years you have been in office. You know what has been happening in the constituency. So I think you need to get some information that you need to guide him if there is.
Yeah, I just wanted you to, re-echo the fact that we have a cordial relationship. To be fair to him, after our election, even before his election, he came to me. He's a young man. I never aspired to go back to House of Reps. Even if I had aspired, that you have won will not make you. He's now the leader of the federal constituency. So wherever he goes, will follow. If he requires any level of, what do you call it, advice from me, my house is very open. He was even the one that identified all the projects I facilitated in the budget. He came to my house, he brought, I said, yes, this is this, this is that, this is this, this is that, this is that. Go ahead. Even at some point, he even threatened that he was going to ask them to revoke the contract. I said, do you know what it cost me to get this contract? This is the only federal grade A construction company in the entire they are not. What is the minister does not know how important every road is. That is the reason why you, as the representative, should make sure at the appropriation, at the budget level, you make sure they are provided 300 million can't be a kilometer of road today. I don't know the procurement, what they are doing. Can't do anything. It is left for you now to lobby, to go and look for funds. And ensure they get up to 1 billion. So that was what I was doing. And that was why these road projects were going. So this is what they are going to do. And also, these contractors, they are human beings. They cannot function without you. You are talking about helping, their issues. Their issues is money. Fund them. If you fund them, you see them perform. So I will arrange, you guys will meet, hand over. I have written in my handover note, these are the projects. It's not even only this, there are a lot of projects. There is this one that is coming from Amove to Utuju, going to cutting Isu, Ekorokbara. There is also this other one, Arochukwu Itu Road, that passes through Aseta. There are a lot of federal projects but even the maintenance of this Umuahia Bend, because there are 2 contractors. One is from FEMA maintaining this road. If you recall, before I became a House of Reps member, this bend, Ozuabam Road, was impassable. was when I became a House of Member. Let's remember that I brought in the first maintenance. I had to institute this road project in the federal budget at FEMA maintenance. FEMA was always there throughout my 8 years in the House of Reps. This road was passable. But today, maintenance is something that now look at the state of the road. So I will advise my brother, which I have told him, he's our leader. He's the leader of the federal constituency. His whatever advice he needs, if he needs that advice, I'm gladly we interact, we share those at any very particular point in time. He's a nice guy, So I will advise that if he needs assistance on the true picture of what to do, I'm available at any given point in time. And also, I also want to use this mail to appeal to the governor. Yes, he's the governor of the state. He has also said it. It is not, we don't have federal citizens, we have state citizens, but we have federal roads. So he should also kindly, that gesture he has extended in section 1 to complete that, he should also extend that gesture to this road. Even if meaning engaging the contractor. Since he has taken over that project from that contractor, still the same contractor. He can also, by word of engaging this contractor, plead with this contractor, mobilize him, let him come back to site. And he can still claim back the money from the federal government.
Is it possible?
Of course, it's very possible. It's the same procedure he did, he will write. Federal government will not say no. They will oblige him. The only thing federal government will ask for you, they will supervise and make sure what you're implementing is according to standard. So that by the time you're applying for payment, they will say yes. They can vouch for you that what you're applying for is what you did. So I appeal to the governor to also extend that gesture. He has extended to that Ohafia Arochukwu highway to Omoya. And I want in this too, including you people, even Ibe. He has also extended that gesture to me to come and build this my bridge, Info Bridge. I ensured that all the approvals were gotten while I was in office. So I have laid the foundation to make it easier for anybody. If I have had that foundation, if my predecessors or state actors gave me that this thing, I wouldn't have been this constituency. This road by God's grace will have finished. But I am happy that I left a legacy that somebody can easily latch on and take the shine. So I want to say that again, I'm open anytime, any day. Even if Ibe calls me today, my honorable Ibe, he's my leader in the federal constituency. I will leave whatever thing I'm doing and go to him. If he wants to come here, he knows here, he comes here. Even my house in Abuja. So I'm very, very fine, and I'm ready, to offer any advice. Pro bono.
All right, thank you. We'll like to go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll still talk more on this political perspective with former member representing Arochukwu of the Federal Constituency, Honorable Uko Ndukwe Nkole. Thank you very much.
Experience the smooth and strong feeling that consistently surpasses expectation. Leading the way in high-performance lubricants, Master Supermoto Oil is as durable as titanium.
When you were the member representing the constituency, do you have, or is there anything you've done to make sure there is life in that constituency?
Going from what you have said, past 5 years, that means average in the 6 years I was there was electricity. Now, this is 2 years after my tenure, so that means something is amiss. Yes, the initial challenge we had a great deal, and light was reinstated. And also, there was this issue, controversy around billing, estimated billing. Estimation of billing is not the right mechanism. A part of the expectations from the discos is that they will meter their customers so that you actually pay. So you don't allow, particularly my constituency as it was then, or as it is now, though not under my leadership, it remains largely agrarian environment, such that they are not such a heavy energy consuming these things that in the houses. The fourth line first has been on the part of the EUDC, which I engage them. I will come and do enumeration. Do enumeration, find out the households. In my community, they are giving bills close to 190 something million. I say, how did these bills come up? We had an arrangement. It is your fault, it's not my fault. In fact, I'm supposed to have the electricity free for your default. But for you to come, whether you give me supply or no electricity supply, come and bill people, it's wrong. So that altercation, by the end of the day, they understood themselves and, we started benefiting from light. Now, the major issues, again, other major issue they had was a vegetative cover. Trees were disrupting their light so that in the rainy period, trees will fall. In the maintenance, I now told them, it is high time you stopped using these kinds on ad hoc level. Why don't you recruit these youths? Let them man these lines, clear the vegetative cover so that you can have your electricity supply. Engage them. Stop engaging them on ad hoc basis. So that wasn't done. I provided as a solution. So we're on that back and forth arrangement until elections came and left. Now, beyond that, if you observe, we're not asking the right questions. There are some responsibilities that EEDC is yet to carry out, to fulfill, to ensure steady supply of light. By now, by arrangement, EEDC is expected to have a booster station because this light travels from U2. That feeds us this way. And EEDC, it gets 9% of the electricity supplies, the entire Southeast, though which is low. But the 9% that he gets, he has the responsibility to go to the GENCOs, TCN, to negotiate. Because the much energy you buy, that means the much quantity and the much megawatts per hour of light you can supply to homes. So I don't think they are doing the right thing. So that is really the fundamental issue that should be addressed. How much available of electricity does he have? Does he purchase? So these are issues, these are burning points, these are focal points, these are questions our state actors should be asking. And also, what is the location of the mega cap? Ohafia is under 11 kV. It's under 11 kV. What is the mega cap for Ohafia? Is it enough? We have army barracks. So I'm sure that those are issues to be talked. You also talk about Abreba. I'm sure Abreba mega cap is no more than a 60 energy mega cap, which is not enough. Ohafia with the barracks, I think it's about 159 or 160 mega cap. So how will those lights come? Between us and Arochukwu, we have Arochukwu 1 and Arochukwu 2, which is Abam and Arochukwu proper. It's covered by 33 kV. That 33 kV, I think one is getting 90, one is getting 50 something mega cap. If you aggregate them, it's about 140 something. So with that level of allocation, there's no way you can have steady power supply. These are technical issues that our representatives should be looking at. Our state actors, even the state governor, also should be concerned. Like I said, Ohafia is rapidly growing into an urban center, and electricity is key. It centers around whatever development you're looking at. We center around empowerment so that the SMEs can grow. You can't grow SMEs without talking about energizing them. Today, the subsidy removal has practically made it impossible for some of the electricity-based who initially ordinarily will go for source for alternative through generators. The liter of fuel is about 1,000 and something naira. Who would be able to run a generator completely for it? How much is the person going to make? Assuming doing the barbing salons and all the school rooms and all those. So those things are issues that has made it mandatory that electricity should form the focal point. So I expect our state actors to start the process of engagement to discover, one, the electricity that is being allocated from bulk electricity or from TCN through EEDC engagement with them. Is it enough? What is EEDC doing to show up that they have adequate even supply? With what we have now, if we hook Ohafia, make a gap for Ohafia, from my projection, Ohafia requires about 500 megawatts per hour. So those things are engagements that we should start talking about to ensure that the right thing is being done. Yes, the infrastructure too that carries the transformers, the high tension cables and all those things that are under steady vandalization and all those stuff. It is the responsibility of EEDC to protect their equipment. It is our own responsibility to pay them for electricity. We are the consumers. So passing the buck to us as part of the reason is not this. So I want EEDC to wake up and take it seriously, because Ohafia is a big market and it's unfortunate there is no competitor as we speak now. They have just allocated all these things to regions for them to behave they want to behave. That is one of the dangers of monopoly. So I want our people to start putting their mind on asking questions and ensure that the EEDC itself has adequate supply. It can megawatts it can supply to the hinterland. So that is the synopsis of that, why they intensify their efforts to patrol their lines, ensure that they render their services. It's part of their service contract to the people, and they don't have any reason. They should protect the equipment. It's not our responsibility. They should have the manpower. I also record the fact that we have youths that they could easily train as part of corporate social responsibility. They can latch on that CSR and engage all those youths to protect those equipment and also patrol their lines to ensure that the facilities carrying the light does not have any defect. And those ones that are bad, they should, as quick as possible, rectify them and put them back to work. It is their responsibility without further delay.
With your statement, that means EEDC are not capable to, because we are saying as EEDC, all this
EEDC is not living up to it. Even before the vandalization, how much light do we used to have that time? Beyond the vandalization, okay, why will you have your facility got to the level that it is vandalized? What is happening to your security department? So that means your interest is just to make money from the people. And these were facilities you bought over, you took over. It is a responsibility to maintain those facilities and also monitor to make sure they're in good standards. Now, beyond that, how much light has we ever had straight light, even the wattage, even the energy supplied, even those days? Were there what people call full current? Were they standard? So that explains what, that gives a better explanation to what I'm saying at the local level. What we call half current. It's because the energy that is being supplied is low. And there are no booster stations. By now, EDC should have had a booster station so that as the light is traveling, it gets weak. By the time it gets to the point of usage, you have a booster that boosts up the line back. It's a natural thing. If you are running along the line, you get weak. They get the Lucozade, this we call Lucozade booster to give you to re-energize. That is also is applicable to current. The thing travels from Itu. The long distance. It's a distance of over 200 kilometers. So why would the light be weak? So it requires a booster station.
So what you're saying is that even though those places that were vandalized, if they are putting in place, there
won't be enough current to feed the entire district. That location, the monthly
because when we ask some questions and other people are saying, even the deputy governor, the House of Rep member, and some other people are saying that it's due to vandalization.
It's an aspect, but it's not the holistic aspect. Even due to vandalization, whose responsibility it is to make sure it's not vandalized? It's not an excuse. Suddenly, recently, there were even high tower vandalization by the federal government. The northeast was cut off or not. The respective discos, in partnership with federal government, they ensured those things were replaced. So, what is the level of vandalization that EEDC cannot put in place? So, because of that, you deny. It shows lack of capacity to deliver on your mandate. So, the responsibility of you and I, those vandals. It should be probed. Look at the vandalization that just happened in FCT on the manholes. You can see activity, action. Today, they did not just recover that, they apprehended the vandals. The vandals are their ghosts, are their spirits. They should report to police and then put those things back. They should have a security department. So it's not an excuse. Nobody should subsidize for the inefficiency. It's not.
Because last month, we also made the news that 9 persons were caught in Ohafia that are allegedly part of the vandalization. And taking most of our investigation, we noticed most of them were working with the EEDC, part-time with them. So this have brought a cause to what you said about the EEDC need to put things in order. They need to make sure they have enough to give Ohafia, because I'm from Ohafia. When I was growing up, also not even growing up, we don't have much light in Ohafia as a whole. In Edem, as a case study, most times we in a day we won't even have. We'll just have a little. They'll take it, and when you see your bills, it will be estimated a very high bill. Taking back again, when I also speak with a member representing Arochukwu Federal Constituency in Abuja, he said that EEDC said Ohafia is owing 2 billion. I asked the question, the 2 billion, is it from the old women in the village or old men in the village? How many points are they using? How do they calculate it? Is it when the light is on or when the light is off, when they will accumulate such bill to the whole entire Ohafia? Or is it only one person is accumulating a bill of 2 billion naira? Back to you. You've made your statement. But I think all this is an allegation because there's no.
You see, estimated billing is criminal. Estimated billing is, well, you see, those are the things the representative should know. You cannot justify that. I had that scenario with, I challenged the man. I said, it is not my fault that you have not metered me. You should give me light free. That is what the NEC Act says. Go and check the Nigeria Electricity Regulation Commission Act, establishing all this. It is not your fault. They want to give you light free. You should meter your customers. It is part of their responsibility. I heard that when he said they cut off my, I said, go and put back the light. How do you arrive at that 2 billion? How? What is the calculation? Through estimated billing now? So it is wrong. No matter any claimantship, it is wrong. Until he meters. You are supposed to meter every home. Well, people will not pay accurately. Not every month, you just write, this is what you do today because you don't have enough energy. You're not even buying enough energy. You're not even getting enough energy to supply to the people. With just 1 hour, you ration light, maybe switch off one city and now send that light into one village. The light will just come one after 1 hour. Other your load shedding, which you go rationing, you just load shed again, off and switch back. The next day they come and bring you. The day in my village, I had a meeting with the man. I said, I'm aware these village women, they contribute money, they pay monthly. The question to be asked is this: if there is no means that these people give you light, where do you get the ones you supply if they are not paying? And also, if they are not paying, how do you now arrive at the situation that you have 2 billion or whatever billion you are quoting? How did you get it? So it is based on estimation. It's not on real value. So it can be high, it can be low. I sat them down here. I said, go and do a reconciliation. Come and enumerate these houses you are talking about. When they enumerated, they discovered that what they were quoting was not the same. And I said, every month, every community, they used to charge monies. These monies they pay on monthly and give to your staff. And that they don't pay them into the account. I said, whose responsibility is that? The community has discharged their responsibility and given to agents, your staff. Who engages them? Is it not you that engages them? If the money doesn't get to you, then go back and ask your staff, what were you doing in 1 month that monies were not given? Okay, come back to this village. So you see that when they lack the internal control mechanism, the villagers become vicariously liable to their inefficiency. So the improper planning should not constitute an emergency to the constituency. And the representative should have that at the back of his mind and advise them that no, you don't even need anyone. What is the evidence? So there are channels, available to address all these misgivings. And it's just about striking the right course. So that was why I was able to maintain them and confront them, and we had light at least 6 years at stretch. When we had no light in Abam, the man I met, the CEO, we talked, we agreed, we quarreled, we settled, and eventually what I asked to do, they came and did it. So it is not the fault of our constituents that they have not metered them. So the right questions and the right things should be done by EEDs. If they have vandalized your distance, so you now close shop. So they are not being fair to the people. So I expect and I advise the representative to ask that they come and whatever thing that has done wrong, they should come and correct it. And he should particularly write later, drag them to Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. It is their responsibility. Complain, when that thing happened, I took them to NEC. Immediately I took them to NEC, we came back to drawing board and resolve those issues. So I will advise him to write these issues should be tabled before NEC. Let them come and prove to NEC how Ohafia people are owing 2 billion naira. On what parameter? So it is key that the representatives start engaging the relevant government agencies on that matter. EEDC has been sold. It's a private company. The only thing you can talk to is to talk to the regulators. Let the regulators make sure they do the right thing. And also ask this question: what is the energy cap for Ohafia and Arochukwu federal constituency? Then by that, then what is the actual energy requirement? If it gives you data on energy cap for Ohafia and the actual energy consumption that is needed, when you check the two, you can now see where the problem is.
But there's a substation in Arochukwu and one in Ohafia, a substation. And I noticed, because I made some investigation, I noticed most of them have been also vandalized. The one in Arochukwu and the one in Ohafia.
Like I said,
before the former Minister of Power came with the senator, they came to Arochukwu also, Ohafia, then another one in Chicago. So,
those were substations that were being built. Those were energy injection stations that are being built, which I'm not sure they have been energized. So maybe people went in to vitalize the one, but the existing one that is under the management of EEDC, what has happened to them? The local substations, they have transformers and all this, and their lines. Their lines today, most of the transmission towers are on the ground. So those ones, what has stopped them from, re-erecting those poles that are falling on ground? Those things are very dangerous. Their presence is not felt. Beyond the fact they're not supplying light, the infrastructure are all collapsed. So they should start doing something. I mean, they can't transmit power if those things are on ground. So beyond that vandalization, so what are they happening? What are they doing?
back again to policies, Nigeria and also the state, Abia State. Are you still in PDP?
Sure, still a member of the People's Democratic Party. That's the largest political party and the oldest party in Nigeria as it stands today.
Because we want to ask many, we notice there are some crises in PDP, both in the national and also in the state. Throughout years, 8 years in federal rep, you're a member of PDP, down to state, Abia State. During September, November, Abia State PDP did a convention, and you were not found there. If mistakenly, we saw some other members of the PDP. Though you might say being there is not possible, do you have any issue with the party in the state?
I don't have issue with the party in the state. As a matter of fact, by Saturday, I'm inviting you for a meeting for Abia North here, PDP. So you see everybody here. So I'm not, I don't have any issue with the party. I'm a member of the People's Democratic Party. It provided me the opportunity, the platform. I'm obliged to go to House of Representatives back to back. So whatever thing I do, I apply conscience. Even when it was fashionable for me to leave. I mean, when being the only member of PDP at the national level from Abia North in the 9th Assembly, I was the only elected National Assembly member from entire Abia North, which ordinarily I should have been given a level of respect, even to participate in my party's congress free and fair. But on the day of the primary, I ran for Senate. My opponent, whatever reason, they didn't allow the primary to hold. They went and wrote result for him and announced him the winner. What? I wish him well, I wish the party well, and I moved on. I never challenged, I never raised the petition against anybody, even when I had a genuine cause. Labour Party approached me for the senatorial ticket. Abga, all these damages, but it's not in my character, it's not in my nature. Politics, well, representation should not be a do or die affair. So at that particular point in time, in 2023, they did what they did. I left them. I still maintained my membership of the party. I also still tried to work for the party. But internal democracy, we can't sacrifice it on any altar. So I'm still a member of that. My absence in that Congress, it was moved over, shifted a lot of time, and court cases and all those things, and I had a ticket to travel to London. I think the next day, it was held on a Sunday. It was supposed to have happened on a Saturday. It coincided with the local government election. Yes. So I had no other option. Where is the Sunset Airport? Oh. So I couldn't have waited because the Congress lingered into the night. I had to, midway, that Sunday, I left to travel to catch my flight. The Congress? Yeah, I came in on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which the day the Congress held. I left that day because I need to linger to the next morning. So if I had stayed back, I would have missed my flight to London. So I had to travel back to Abuja and handed over, left the remaining preparations, for other people. So that was the reason why, not for any reason.
Okay, Eda Abraham Ama is the state chairman. What advice or what do you think for him to lead the PDP in Abia State as the chairman will benefit the party?
Well, I do hope that he will bring his institutional memory to bear. He has been a party chairman of APP, he has been in PDP, inclusivity and the rule of law, and particularly internal democratic process, internal democracy, party primaries. It should allow it to run its full course. Let people participate, open up the spaces. There should not be any anointed candidate going forward. Let the people choose who their representatives should be at all levels, unbiased. So that is my advice to him. And also to encourage him. The job of opposition is not to clap for the government in power. The concept of his novel shadow government is very key. And I want him to cascade it down to the grassroots level. This is democracy.
So you support the shadow government?
100%. It's opposition. The job of opposition is to put the government in check. It's not to clap for him. Without opposition, there will not be a democracy. Even during military era, we had Nadeko. We have civil societies that were opposing the military. Now in the civilian regime, we are talking about this thing. Whatever, the name is semantics. Everybody has a shadow, including you. So when someone starts becoming afraid of his shadow, then there is something wrong. And in this thing, we advise people not stop chasing shadow. So it appears that now the government of the day is now chasing shadow. So I will advise the government to stop chasing shadow. It's a shadow government. They should be a top notch ahead of them so that they will not have any reason. So it is very constitutional. Opposition is constitutional. Minority has their say. The majority have their way. That is what is obtainable in decent democracy, in democratic norms.
So having shadow commissioners, shadow bodies is in support in a government, a state government.
Even shadow governor, even shadow deputy governor. What is there? Governors bring one day governor and leave the office for someone to come and administer. They don't even call what do they call that? Is it not one day governor? Even that thing is unconstitutional. That the governor will vacate his seat for one day for someone to come and administer. It happens, and it's being tolerated. Now somebody is saying, I want to form a shadow cabinet of your government to be pinpointing, to be giving you direction, to checkmate what they are doing, and you are driving this thing. So it is imperative that we tread with caution, including the law enforcement agencies. The commissioner of police, the inspector general of police should also know that you cannot muzzle opposition. You don't do that in democracy. Even when those issues come up, you say, no, sir, this particular thing is not intended to hurt you. They have not formed any office. It's a mindset. They have not said the commissioner, they have the office, they have anything, they have any. No. It's shadow. You don't change shadow. So this is the first time I've seen the government chasing shadow. When we advise people not to chase shadow, but you have a government that was chasing shadow. So it's meaningless. So I would advise the governor, let him just focus and do the right thing. You see, everything is not about the politics. Look at this road, Arochukwu, Arochukwu road. He's doing a good job here. The shadow commissioner for works can come and say, this drainage here, this, do this in this way. You look at it, if it's this thing, you press it. So I want to commend him on this road. It's a road that even my own PDP administration couldn't fulfill. They only did the Okobo Bridge. I knew that so this is a road. This is the only road that leads us to Arochukwu local government. So I want to thank the governor. It's not, he's doing this particular one. I want him to finish it.
So is it only these ones you've noticed in Abia State? How do you weight the governor in infrastructure?
Well,
he's in the other party, right?
You see, I'm into development. I play development politics. Yes, he's trying. But he's latching on low-hanging fruits. He has not left a legacy. If he does this road here, it's a good legacy he has left. That Arochukwu Ohafia road, Ohafia highway, he wants to complete what I started. We have also left, a legacy. If he does this Uko Bridge, which I've started, he wants to inherit. It's also, those things are signature projects we look to, we'll have to see. Now, the Port Harcourt road in Aba, he's just holding the short end of the stick. From Osisioma towards through Azikiwe, that road, it was not motorable. Igbazo government did those roads. The remaining 5.6 kilometers is coming to do to bring completion to that road project. It's also good that he's using Julius Berger. Now, giving people credit does not stop your own credit. I want to see, this road is about 30-something, 34 kilometers. Yes, it will be credited to him. The first legacy project I have seen on Governor-elect safety is this Ndokreke, Ozuaba Ndokreke Arochukwu, Amovi Road. This is the first signature project he's doing, and I want him to deliver it very, very well. His name will be etched.
How many kilometers?
It's about 34 kilometers or so. Thereabout.
State road.
State road, yes. So if he does that road, that is one of the longest route I've seen he has done. Now the other one, Ben, he's doing the asphalting. Now I want to raise a concern. We are talking about climate change. Climate change has its own impact in all facets of human life, including road construction. Now, it demands that you have a resilient, you build roads, infrastructures that are resilient, that climate change can't affect. What does it mean? Climate change, its implication on road infrastructure means that runoff has increased. That is, the volume of runoff has increased. That means your drainage should be built to standard, wider standard, and should be steep and deep, so that rains can easily flow up and dry. But I don't see that happening in that Bende, Uzuakole, Ohafia Road. Rather, the drainages are tiny. Even the one they exhumed are wider. What does it tell you? That road will not stand the test of time. So I advise that he takes time to look at that road. Again, most of these roads is rehabilitation that he's doing. You see them annex the road shoulders. Most of these roads are not done with shoulders. You see them annex, incorporate the shoulders as part of the road, as part of the widening. No, that is not the standard of road. Road has drainage. After drainage, you have road shoulder. Road shoulder serves very common purpose, a range of purpose. Road shoulder, it can be an easement for vehicles when vehicles, maybe have technical issues or those things that they require to stop. Instead of blocking the highway, the lane, they'll just back. But when those things are next into the road, it defeats that purpose. Any slightest thing, that road is blocked. So it's a defective engineering design that is being implemented on most of those things. That is the same thing they have done in that Michael Akbar, where you have Michael Akbar, they are calling 6 lanes. I mean, that it defies any logic. That is still a 2-lane road. Because they have also annexed, there is no road shoulder, there is no pedestrian walkway, and they call it 6 lane. That is not a 6 lane. It does not have the quality. And most of all these roads also that merely they maintain an asphalt. These are roads that have stayed over 20, the lifespan of roads I think is 20, 24, 25 years. After that, you start rehabilitation of those roads. So those roads have already outlived their lifespan. Now today, what I observed they are doing on those roads is they will still come, maintain and put asphalt and run it across. It is also not good. Those things are not rules that will stand the test of time. But however, since it was not done in the administration, in the lifetime of our PDP government, when some of all these things come, people praise them because they were not there before. I don't blame them, but I want the governor, he shouldn't latch on those rhetorics and deny the people more quality. He can do better than that, and posterity will also be very, very kind, to him. So it's a way to say that he's doing well, but more. The gold standard, the premium standard he preached about is not being delivered. So I want him to ramp up his performance by making sure he delivers more. Even the thickness of the asphalt and all those distances are being led. It's not up to standard. He may not know, he may not be a technical person. I know he's from the OPS, organized private sector, purely, core banking. But these things are technical details. I'm in the built industry, I'm in the built environment, I'm a professor, so I have ideas of all those things. Even I have said it before, and I also I want him to succeed. If he doesn't succeed in these 4 years, what is being wasted is also Abia funds and Abia resources. It's your money and your own money that is involved. Who pay the taxes? It's not anybody's personal money. It's not the political party money. It's Abia money. So what it requires is that everybody should bring in, should accommodate every idea. Resource persons that will help him drive that process. I've offered my services pro bono. I'm not asking for any day. They ask after me. The day this bridge happened, when they sent the document, I also told him that I've given you this document. I've given you the technical and the financial documents. This bridge design, and I'm happy. The legacy, what I started, I got approval for this Omenoko bridge on the 9th of April 2023, without which nobody could have done anything on this bridge. Likewise, at Arochukwu Ohafia highway is also. If someone hasn't done approvals, designs, it wouldn't have been possible. So I want him to step up to that premium standard he promised.
Yes, still on the infrastructure about the governor of Abia State. Do you think in your own capacity as a former rep member and somebody that love infrastructure, do you think the governor is very transparent to Abians on most of his doings?
Well, from my experience and how governance, operates, especially in a constitutional democracy, the government, any elected office holder, particularly those that have executive powers, they control the funds. As a legislator, I had no access to funds. Mine own is only by way of appropriation to the executive. They now release the funds. Now that means everything has been captured in the line budget, in every line item in the budget, detailing how much each project is to be executed. And it's from the form now vote heads where those lines will be charged for those projects on the implementation. Now, that is what it should be in Abia State. Such that at a very particular point in time, once you open the budget, you see the road project, you know how much that's being expended on that particular project. So that is, it calls for transparency, and also it makes it easier for accountability so that people will not be second guessing. Now, that is what I believe should be in the books of Abia State. Every project must be budgeted and it must be passed, and the funds, because these are public funds, these are not personal funds of any state actor. So you are in Abia, and you should be able to have access to those documents to know what is being spent on each particular road. If that is not the case, then is opacity, and that opaqueness is not what is required of any government that is transparent and accountable. So I think if you check with the budget, we see all those line items and cost check and see how much was budgeted and how much is being spent.
Some of reports we've gathered from mainly politicians in Abia State and some opposition party say your party is down and has gone in Abia State. Come 2027, do you think PDP have chances of winning?
You see, I have a view, perspective Political parties are special purpose vehicles. That is part of requirement in the constitution for individual to get to power. There's no independent candidate. So I want people to start removing party from individuals' behavior and characters. Because if you follow party, you make a lot of mistakes. Today we have seen what party want to be with, the level of representation it has imposed on us. If we're enjoying it, fine. If we're not enjoying it, we now understand that there is a difference between a party and its candidates. So that is why internal democracy is key. PDP is the only organic party you have in Nigeria. Every other political party today now is a hybrid. That means they have a hybrid ideology. Today now, the governor is Labour Party. There's a local government chairman and in another party, zonal Labour Party. So, is that what that has bargained for? So, it's not about party. It's about individuals. So, I want to tell people that we should look at things dispassionately without political affiliation. Now, has the Labour Party today done well? Have they been prompt in paying the pensions, gratuities, all those rhetorics they latched on to ride onto power? Today, I hear that you have faction in the pensioners group. These were pensioners that were wearing black and black, supporting, in fact, they were the darling of His Excellency Governor Alex Oti before he became a governor. Every day they were wearing black and black, following him. But today, what is the fate? So I want to advise him. It's not about party. It's about individual. The hood does not make the monk. He should live up to that campaign promise and pay them. Government is a continuum. Even if it's not going to pay them that amount of money, let it still be on record. Let it not be a policy that they said some people that have wiped out their sweat. Where has it ever happened that you waived your gratuity, something you have worked all over your life and your pensions? So if you can't pay them, allow that debt to be there. One day, somebody will keep talking, advocating for them. Someday, somebody will come and clear those debts. But don't write it off. This is their sweat. So if that is it Labour Party decision? Because Labour Party is perceived to be owned by Nigerian Labour Congress. So why would be a party that is owned by Nigerian Labour Congress now victimize workers? So that is why that party ideology, people should differentiate it from an individual. Now, you come into government, you have inherited both assets and liabilities. That is why it is government. You inherited in the PDP handover, they said how many amount of billions of naira you were left. I understand even when the geometric issue was happening, until the documents surfaced that the PDP administration, out of the $5 million share of PDP was, so PDP paid up to $3.8 million. And the government that was handed over refused to disclose to the public. So what was the intention of holding back that $3.8 million, the Abia share that was paid by the previous administration? So you see, governance, propaganda should not be part of government. Yes, people will say Igbazo did PDP government. Igbazo tried his very, very best. All of us were witnesses to Aba. What happened in Aba before that time? He has done his own. The next government should continue. It was the question I asked one of the cures. I said, this 35 kilometers is now, or 40-something kilometers, he said he's going to build. Is he going to build it fresh? Is he going to scrape up the ones we did from Old Soldier? to do the man okay and remove the ones we did from Umuchi Akoma. A stretch of about 14 kilometers on binders course with light drainages and culverts. Or is he going to remove the 7-kilometer wearing course and light drainages and culverts done by Bexkinse? So you see, some of all these things come straight. Give people their credit. Everything is not bad. You didn't meet Abia as a desert. Abia was not a desert. We're not living, government house, we're not living on trees. People are not living on trees. People were not what do you call archival men that were still wearing, that were still using not even wrapper, using leaf to cover our nakedness. That is the impression you are giving about Abia State. It is wrong. We are demarketing your state. So it is not about party, it's about individuals. Today, I want to see the construction company that will have the capacity that what I attracted in that Arochukwu Ohafia and this Ben Ohafia in the grade of Heartland Setrako that was on this road. I want to see the capacity of the contractor that will match what I attracted there. Was I not? Am I not the PDP person? Was it not under my watch that this road? So everything is not about party. So they should forget about those rhetorics. Aside from Julius Berger that is doing that 5.6 kilometer road, this stretch is 35 kilometer. Heartland Setrako is there. From Umuahia going to Ohafia is 44 kilometer. Setrako Heartland is there. He's using 5.6 kilometers, 6 kilometers to Julius Berger. Julius Berger is in the class of Heartland Setrako that I have facilitated. So it's not about party. So that is why I advise and I tell Abians that please, the mistakes made by individuals, government is a continuum. You continue from where the next person stopped and do your own and do better. So we only pray can only get better and not getting, worse.
All right, before we'll leave you, we would like you to, this is a new year, 2025. As a leader of the party PDP in Abia State, what are the encouragement to the supporters, to people that believe in you as an individual? Likewise, what you said, that the party is just yes. So now, what do you have to tell your supporters and also PDP faithfuls?
One, like I've said, I've want PDP in Abia State to strengthen internal democracy. They should allow quality people that have ideas to come out from the people to support them as their leaders. And I also want to say that the only party that has that organic followership is People Democratic Party. And when PDP was in power, a lot of empowerments happened. Food was not as difficult as it is today. I have not seen anybody anywhere that have, surpassed PDP in terms of development, empowerment, genuine. We used to have special assistants or technical officers, and it was a level of question to carry the grassroots around. And the velocity of those money, let me borrow from our governor then when he was campaigning. He was talking about velocity of money so that people don't sleep before 6 o'clock. But today, more here in Aba and everywhere. It has turned a ghost town. That principle of velocity of money is no more applicable. But in PDP, when you appoint 3,000 persons, aces, it's job creation. But today, what are we having? Even the employments that were, done, these were Abians, they have been sacked. Those number of persons, you have denied meals on the table. So your policies are impoverishing the masses, your citizens. When you become a governor, when you're elected, you become the governor of everybody. Both those that voted for you and those that did not vote for you. That is why it's a majority carries the vote. That was why it was a misadventure for the governor or his staff to start chasing PDP, ask police, law enforcement agencies to come and people you swore to protect. Because the opposition, that is not the spirit. So you have emerged as a leader. So I want to advise my party, the followers, everybody, it is one of the things you see, every leader has that kind of tyranny attitude. But this one has gone to a level that we need to be resilient. It's just a mere intimidation. And we're going to get. So I want you people, even including Abians, despite the hunger in the land. And I want the governor to address these things, these concerns genuinely, including the pensioners. It is painful that the pensioners we still have issues among them. Things are very expensive now. Their medications, these are our parents, these are old people that have medical needs or support for one thing or the other. And those things are not coming. So I plead with them that also they should persevere. God definitely will hear their prayers. Now I appeal to the governor, please have a change of tactics on those pensioners. Pay them those money. Even if you are not going to pay them, the one that is, let them have the mind that yes, they are still being owed by government one day. Don't write it off, don't cancel it. It's a disservice to them. It has never happened. And I don't know why it should happen under the administration of Governor Alex Twitty. So our governor, you are our governor. God has made you the governor. So please, temper justice with mercy. Then, for the party, again, and every follower, keep what you are doing. Don't lose up. Things definitely will get better. The crushing effects of the economic is imposed. It appears even the government is helpless. They can't help the masses on this food crisis that is happening. The hunger in the land. Also, I plead that the governor should fashion out means to cushion the effect of all this on the masses. For my people and the leader of the federal constituency, please intensify your effort in this new year to ensure that this road project doesn't suffer anymore. And to our governor, this Mori Road, this Arochukwu road, please put it in your agenda and try to intervene. Reach out to the contractors, reach out on funding terms and see how things could be done. Because this rainy season on that road, I don't know what it's going to look like. So those things are my passionate play. And I also thank you that my Ivozu Bridge that you have taken up from where I stopped, from the approval I've gotten to ensure that you fund. And I'll assure you that the refund for the bridge, whatever thing it is mentioned, wherever, we still have, with our civil service connection, we'll also ensure that whatever fund that is expended is refunded to Abia State in due course. During the time.
Thank you, our wonderful viewers out there, for this time with the former member representing Arochukwu Ohafia Federal Constituency, Honorable Uko Ndukwe Nkole. Here with us today is a wonderful discussion. Political perspective will still come on your way, and is a platform where we discuss politics. We discuss a lot, both states and national. Thank you for watching ABN TV. Don't forget to download our app on all-in-one ABN Radio Television. Also visit our website www.abntv.com.ng. Follow us on Facebook, ABN TV, on Twitter, ABN TV, on Instagram, ABN TV, YouTube, ABN TV. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. My name is Ifani Okale.